Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is to advise those present at this meeting of the Board of Education of the Pinelands Regional School District in the County of Ocean that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. The notice has been posted in the Board of Education office, junior high school, and high school buildings. The notice was also mailed to the Press of Atlantic City, Asbury Park Press, and filed with the municipal clerks of Bass River Township, Eagleswood Township, Little Egg Harbor Township, and the Borough of Tuckerton. As we move into roll call was previously recorded. Item number 3, approval of the minutes. I ask for a motion to approve the minutes listed from September 16th of 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Amanda, a roll call vote. Any questions on those minutes? Seeing none, Amanda, roll call, please.
Miss
Vote.
Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
You know what, I'm sorry. Lisa, you are not here for that meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have reminded you ahead of time. So you will abstain?
I abstain.
Okay. All right. Motion carries.
Fantastic. Moving into item 4, reports. We will have our student representatives. We have someone from the junior high school to come on up. Jacob, how you doing, young man? Why don't you come up to the podium? Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings to the board. I'm Jacob Wolchek, the chairman of the student government at the junior high school, and I'm here to give an update to the board and to the public about the activities in our school for the last month. First off, we ended September with our fall pep rally, which was a huge success. Our junior high gym was buzzing with excitement and school spirit. We started off October with our fall harvest dance on Friday the 4th. We had over 200 students in attendance, many of whom donated items to the Wildcat Shack upon admission to the event. On October 8th, School-Based Youth Services hosted Challenge Day for our junior high school students, which was a day to meet new people and encourage positive interactions among students. On October 15th, we had our junior high school fundraiser assembly to promote participation in our Club's Choice fundraiser, in which 7th and 8th grade students sold goods like cookie dough, flatbreads, and pretzels to raise money for their class. Our fundraiser concluded on October 24th with great success. Thank you to everyone who promoted or supported the classes of 2029 and 2030. To highlight the fall sports season, our 7A junior high school football team won a share of the OCIAL conference title, making it the second year as OCIAL champions. The 7A girls volleyball team ended their team season on a 2-game win streak. Coach Lowe would like to congratulate our 8th grade all-star representatives for boys soccer, Stephen Amato and Travis Coons. Coach Eric would like to congratulate the girls soccer team on their exciting win over Barnegat Middle School last week, a team that's gone undefeated by Pinelands for the past several years. And finally, in cross country, 8th graders Killian Riley and Simon Villanueva have joined the prestigious ranks of the top 12 all-time fastest times at Pinelands. We also have several upcoming events that we're looking forward to. The junior high will be having its first Roar event this Thursday, where students that have been recognized for positive behavior will be rewarded with a trick-or-treating tour around the building on Halloween Day. Our National Junior Honor Society will be hosting its annual Veterans Day Luncheon this Friday, November 1st, right here in the Junior High School Media Center. We look forward to giving our local veterans a warm Wildcat welcome and honoring them with a patriotic ceremony and luncheon. Also, the Junior High Pride Club, along with School-Based Youth Services, is getting ready to kick off our annual Thanksgiving food drive. Students can bring donations to math or history classes, and there will also be a donation bin set up in the main office. The drive will run from Monday, November 11th to Friday, November 22nd. Overall, it's been a busy start to the school year at the junior high, and we look forward to more exciting events as we move into the month of November. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Max, do you have a tie underneath that top of yours?
I do not, but I do have another
Okay.
polo pants I wore the suit.
1-0 junior high school.
Yeah, he did great. He did. Good evening. October was a very successful month at Pinelands Regional. Homecoming was a success. We had over 550 kids present at that. Starting with exciting spirit days like Pink Out for Breast Cancer Awareness, Minion Monday, Twin Day, and more. Our football team secured a homecoming game win against Neptune, 26-20 in overtime. The Harvest Festival took place on Saturday morning of homecoming weekend, October 19th. It was full of fun activities like carnival rides, live bands, pop-up stores, and food trucks. Last but not least, our school held the homecoming dance with loads of food, dancing, a movie, and football game viewing area, and a photo station with Miss Park. Pinelands held fun in-class and out-of-class activities like a Halloween movie night in the auditorium on October 23rd. Pinelands Experience, where many high schoolers went out to help the 7th graders at a fun-filled campground day. The ecology classes went out to explore the Pinelands bogs. Our classes showed our respect to the community during the Week of Respect, full of fun spirit days, including all blue outfits, pajamas, and more. Our fall sports teams are thriving during their seasons. Our girls tennis team, the boys and girls soccer team, girls field hockey, and cross country are all either finishing out their seasons or have already been done. Our cheerleaders are holding a clothing donation drive. The football team is continuing their season with a home game this Wednesday, and special recognition to our girls volleyball for securing the B South Division title, and we wish them continued success as they advance in the Group 2 state tournament. Pinelands clubs kicked off in October. The Student Council sold Pink Out bracelets and bandanas to donate to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. The History Club is planning its first annual trip. Student ambassadors are selling turkey pops for students to send to their friends. Future Business Leaders of America is helping out with the Cat Shack in the middle school. Newspaper Club is writing articles for their November issue. Wildcats in Action is hosting a Halloween party for the Pride Cards students. To conclude, October was a very productive, fun-filled month at Pinelands Regional.
Thanks, Max. Max, I'm going to ask you one quick question in regards to that clothing donation drive. Would you know the when and where? If not, can you get it to us?
I do not know when and where, but I can get it.
Okay. And then when that, Amanda, when he, or Melissa, when he lets us know those dates, you'll let us know as well. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Dr. McCauley, it's your turn.
I just have a couple more things because I think you covered pretty much everything. We're getting a visit this week from JAGS. They're doing a site visit and our program's amazing. We're looking forward to having them come. There's a band concert tomorrow night at the high school auditorium. And I just want to say that Dr. Fraska and I went to a conference in Baltimore. It was really great just hearing from different people across the nation and really seeing that we're doing a lot of the things that they're talking about now we've already been doing. So it was pretty reassuring. We went right from our conference in Baltimore Tuesday morning right to school boards in Atlantic City, and once again went to some really great workshops and learned a lot. And we were honored with attending Mr. Donio's workshop, and it was really great. So thank you to the board for supporting those things, and that's all I have.
All right. Thanks, Doc. Let's move into presentations. Gina Frasca, you got something for us? And the admin team.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. Good evening, President Bonnicky, Vice President Donio, members of the board. We have a leadership, I want to call this the state of how Pinelands is doing. So many of us are going to be taking different slides. So I just wanted to introduce, do I have a clicker? Or are you going to click for me? Okay. Great. So over the summer, we had the opportunity to meet with the leadership team and the Board of Education to set goals for this school year for 24-25, and we are going to start with that. Down, up, over. Where am I pointing? Okay. All right, so before we talk about the goals, I think it's really important for us to kind of look at our current demographic, and this was actually from Sunday's data, because data is always changing. How many students we have in the junior high, how many students we have in the high school, a total of 1570. Our economically disadvantaged students, and you can see that number is constantly changing. We were actually above 50% in all categories, went down a little bit. People are still turning in their paperwork for the free and reduced lunch. But as you can see, we are close to 50% for economically disadvantaged students in the district. Also, students with disabilities in the junior high, 29%, and in the high school, 22%, with a total of 24%. Our English language learners, and that is a number that changes on a daily. Right now, currently, we have 7 students in the junior high and 16 in the high school. And we have, unfortunately, 1 homeless student and 8 homeless students in the high school. This next slide is really interesting. We've been tracking this for some time. You can see that we have a changing demographic at Pinelands, which is really great. And it did kind of, this was something that we looked at when we were setting our goals this summer. As you can see, looking at the 16-17 school year and highlighting where we were, we had about 86% of our students were white at that time. And you can see that in now, 24-25, we are 78%. And we are doubling in many areas, our a higher Hispanic population, doubling our Black population, and also 2 or more races. I think we have 3 times the amount. So it's something we pay attention to. We're very happy that we have a more diverse population, and it does bring us into our goals for this school year. Next. And District 1, goal number 1 is mental health and wellness. And everything we do this year is centered around mental health and wellness, proactively improving health and wellness through a focus on early intervention of mental health indicators in students, with a goal of gathering data on a minimum of 80% of our students. And district goal number 2 is improving student success by providing equitable educational opportunities for all students and between diverse groups through the implementation of best practices such as equity-focused professional development, data analysis, and targeted intervention. So those are our guiding goals for this school year. Dr. McCooley.
So up on this slide, you're going to see some of the grants that we have currently in place. One of our biggest ones is the one on top. It's for $1.38 million. This is how we were able to get ESS, our mental health supports, as well as the Twilight program that we have for students that may have a little bit of a struggle attending school during the day. We're able to put them in a program after school, and we're avoiding them from being chronically absent, as well as possibly dropping out of school. You can see that we got a lot of grants for mental health. Our transition grant is one of our newer ones, and that's assisting our students with transitioning out of school. We have a school climate grant. SBYS has gotten that grant for multiple years, extremely beneficial to our school district. And then lastly, at the bottom, that's just a combination of some of our smaller ones, but obviously it adds up to $74,000. On a side note, I just submitted for a grant for $100,000 for dual enrollment. And if we get that one, it would help to offset the cost that some of our students have to pay, which is minimal, but it still adds up if they're in many classes for dual enrollment.
Thank you, Dr. McCooley. Now we have our principal of the high school, Mr. Troy Henderson.
Good evening, everyone. So we, at the building level, try to align our goals with the district goals. So ours are on mental health and equity. The mental health goal, we're trying to promote all the mental health PD academies that we have at the school. So we're trying to increase the number of teachers that attend them. So we have a plan to do that. And our equity goal is we're asking all the teachers to put goals in their personal growth plans that focus specifically on equity.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Now we have our junior high principal, Mr. Eric Shore.
Good evening, everyone. Pretty much like Mr. Henderson said, when we met in the summertime here at the junior high school, at the high school, we try to align our building level goals in line of what the district is looking at. So recently, we met with our skip/leadership team, and we are staying in line. So our first goal is, as well, mental and physical health and wellness. Underneath, there's a few ways we're going to go about trying to achieve this goal. Kind of what we're looking at is proactively improve our health and wellness by focusing on cell phone policy, our multi-tier system of support referrals to mental health support, such as ESS, SPOIS guidance. We really want to take a deep dive into that and make sure we're aligning and doing the best we can for our students. And for our equity, we had asked all of our junior high school staff in the beginning of the year, as they were creating their PGPs, to have a SMART goal in there, something based on equity. And that will be in there with the rate 90% will report successful professional development in the area of mental health. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Shore. And now we have our Director of SBYS, Mrs. Janelle Gonzalez.
I picked up what you put down there. Vertically challenged. Good evening, everybody. So I am proud to say that Pinelands Regional School District really recognized the importance of emotional well-being for their students for many years. School-based has been here for over 35 years. So, kudos to the district for recognizing that and helping to support that for so long. I'm not going to read down the list, but we do provide a myriad of services, from individual counseling, group counseling, recreational opportunities, employment, leadership skill building, awareness and prevention and awareness programming events. So those are just some of the few things. I know several years back there was some talk about defunding, not our Board of Education, but at the state level, school-based youth services. Rest assured that I am sitting on some state committees just to ensure that we do stay here at Pinelands, and I am hopeful that we're not being looked at this juncture, but I continue that work at the state level to make sure that we stay here. Next, please. Next. So with data, this is from January of this year to October 15th. This is an unduplicated number of services. So school-based youth services has serviced, individually or in group, 49% of the student population, which I think is a pretty amazing number, considering we're a mighty staff of 7, myself included in that number. And the junior high school is at 53%. And those exact numbers are, what is indicated in each building. Next, please. This next slide is a duplicated number. Obviously, when you see 5,383 participants, those are duplicated numbers, since we only have like 1,500 and change here at Pinelands Regional School District. But what it does is it, titrates out, granulates where we are with, either cultural enrichment, volunteer opportunities, workshops, assemblies, prevention and awareness programs. So that just shows where we were from January through October. I will note that I can definitely see here when we're pushing out awareness campaigns. So like for February, we talk about teen dating violence and healthy relationships, and that's a bigger push for us. March is preparation for our May. You can see May is our largest. That is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're doing a lot of prevention and awareness in that. And as well as September, that's like when we start this school year, and that is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. So that's just like kind of like a little bit of a snippet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez. Now we have Mrs. Karen Kenny, Director of Student Services.
Good evening, everyone. Every year, the New Jersey Department of Education requires us to do a self-assessment on harassment, intimidation, and bullying practices in our school districts. This is, you look at the information from July 1st through June 30th, so it's the previous school year. And strangely enough, the maximum grade you can receive on your self-assessment is a 78, is perfect. Next slide. Each school has to have its own safety team. So the high school safety team is manned by the school bullying specialist, and we have multiple members of administration, a parent, our SRO, the school nurse, as well as various staff. So the high school safety team does the self-assessment. Next slide. The junior high safety team will complete their self-assessment, and again, they review all the parameters throughout the different categories in the self-assessment. Next slide. So I have posted here over the course of the few years since 2019, the different areas that we score ourselves. And we have a different rubric for each one and have to list where we are at in different areas. And one of the things that is really important to us is the training. We really try to make sure that we are reaching out to our shared services as far as, or different services such as like the bus drivers, our cafeteria workers, we're making sure that they're receiving the training as well. And you can see throughout that different areas that we really always strive to do our best. And that is the high school chart. If you can flip to the junior high chart, and you'll see the junior high chart is listed in the areas that we, again, continue to look at. So then I will be back in probably like 4 months, then they'll publish this at the State Department, and then I have to present our actual grade for the district for this HIB self-assessment.
Okay, so we do want to focus on mental health, but we do have to pay attention to our test scores. So I'm going to give a quick update on ELA, math, and science data. This is an overview slide. You can see Pinelands is in the second column, and then the state, just to kind of give an idea of where we are in comparison with the state averages. On this slide, it's grades 7, 8, and 9 for ELA data. The B factor is our district factor group, which means that we are a B factor group. A would be inner city schools, so we're the second level up from that. And we compare ourselves to schools like us in the area of B factor group schools. So you can see B factor group, that is the average of how they're doing in their schools for those grades, and then also the state. That's ELA. And then I'm just going to go through very quickly. Here are the 7th grade scores. I did throw a comparison column in to see how we were doing last year as opposed to this year. So in the first column is our, going through our did not meet. We're going to look at met expectations, 21% last year, 21% this year, and exceeded expectations, 9.2, and we went up a little bit there, so showing some improvement. ELA 8, again, looking at met expectations, 27.6 last year, 26.3 this year, and our exceeded expectations was 16.3 last year and 11.7 this year. ELA 9, and you can see the work that is going into really increasing the achievement in ELA, because last year we had 28% meeting expectations, this year 37%, and you can see that is above the state average. So go freshmen, and looking at that exceeding expectations, way above average for the state and the DFG group, so great job. For math, we have a lot of challenges in math. It's not a Pinelands issue. It's not even an Ocean County issue. It is not even a state issue. It's a national issue. We have speakers coming into our county meetings to talk about how to improve this. We are definitely struggling in this area, and we're looking at different ways that we can improve. We have a lot of interventions that we're putting into place. This is an overview slide. Again, you can see Pinelands, the state, again, very low percentages, and our B factor group that we compare ourselves to. Looking at the next slide, going through one by one, Math 7, again, it's a challenge because we are getting kids from different sending districts, 21% last year, 17% this year, and exceeding expectations. We did go up in that area in 2024. Math 8 is a challenge because a lot of those students do not go to the Algebra 1 class in 8th grade. So these are our more struggling students that need a little bit more remediation before they go into Algebra 1. So very low numbers, but we had a minor improvement from last year on meeting expectations. Our Algebra 1 middle school, so those are 8th graders taking Algebra 1. We do tend to put more students in there, even if they are close to readiness. You can see last year we had 40% of our students meeting expectations in 23, and 53% last year. So we definitely saw an increase. and we were above the state average. The Algebra 1 high school, again, lots of struggling students across the state. You can see very low numbers. We did improve slightly in our meeting expectations in Algebra 1. I know that we talked to the board at length this summer about our plan to remediate that and give kids 2 years to take that algebra class. And geometry, again, an area that we are focused on. Dr. McCooley and I met with all of the math teachers. We have been working with them on looking at all of the data, looking at all of the evidence statements, which give a very clear view on what areas we're not we're not doing well and the areas that we are doing well. So we've been really taking a deep dive with the math teachers and making sure that we really see what we have to cover in order to get those scores up. Science, another area that across the state we are struggling. You can see we give the science assessment in grades 8 and 11, and you can see Pinelands and how we are a little bit above in grade 8 for our district factor group, and around a little bit higher than our district factor group for grade 11. We have a very robust science program at Pinelands. We take great pride in it. So, test scores are not everything, but we are working on it. DLM, Miss Marissa Elwood.
Good evening. The Dynamic Learning Map Assessment is an alternative proficiency assessment. It's given to about 1% of our tested population, and it tests essential elements that are aligning with our Common Core standards. As you can see the data here, they're assessed 7th, 8th, and 11th. It's about 10 of our students.
Thank you, Mrs. Elwood. We have Dr. Clark talking about access for ELS.
Good evening, everybody. So all of the students who are eligible for our English as a Second Language program, which is ESL for short, in case you hear me say that, they all take the Access for ELS test in the spring. It's a standardized assessment that measures students' proficiency as it relates to fluency in speaking and writing and comprehension in reading and listening. Students are scored on a 1 to 5 scale, with 1 generally signifying a student is a newcomer to our country and is at the very initial stages of learning English, and 5 being a student who is completely fluent. Any student who scores lower than a 4.5 is eligible for our English as a Second Language program. Due to the low number of students who participate in our ESL program, we are not reporting on the scores this evening in order to protect their confidentiality. But we wanted to show you the English as a Second Language population trends, because it is a group that we see grows, and a lot of that is because the students in the ESL program tend to be more transient population, which means that they move from high school to high school and don't complete their entire career in one high school. So I know Gina presented it a little earlier. At the end of last year, we had 15 students, and right now we are in the 20s, and once again, that fluctuates throughout the year.
So I just want to go over some numbers. I know that we have a lot of great programs at Pinelands. So here is our ROTC, junior ROTC. Currently, we have 10 students enrolled. Our JAG class right now with Mrs. Maureen Nooner, Rockstar JAG Specialist of the Year in 21, 22, 23, and 24. Expectations for 2025, hopefully, right? 68 students currently enrolled in that amazing program. Our OCTVS, our MATES, which is the Marine Academy of Tech and Environmental Science, is 7 students are attending that at this time. Our ALPS Academy of Law and Public Safety we have 2 students who go to that program. The Performing Arts Academy, we have 1 student. And we have 94 shared time students that go to all different various VOTEC opportunities in the county. Right now, we also have our Biomed Academy. We have currently, we have 38 students at all different levels, from freshmen to seniors, and our Humanities Law Academy, we have 39 students. Right now, for Stockton University, for the dual enrollment classes, we have currently 11. We only had one class about 5 years ago, so we have greatly expanded, and Stockton has been wonderful at partnering with us. And for Ocean County College, we have 17. So we are just expanding these programs and really giving great opportunities for our students to take early college classes in high school. Some AP data. This is going to transition us right into our next presentation. One of our areas that we do very well is expanding our AP to multiple students. You can see, I believe that last year, 2024, in the spring, we had the highest number of AP exams taken in the history of Pinelands. If I look back at my data, you can see that we had 190 AP students, 436 exams. Students with scores of 3+ are 119. And if you can see the bottom line there, you can see that our scores are going back up. We don't put a lot of focus on test scores. College Board data, College Board research tells us that students that get a 2 on an AP exam are better than, more prepared when they go to college than students that don't take AP at all. So that is really important to us. Those 2s are great. We even, give students a lot of credit for getting the 1 and trying the course. So we opened up access for AP. AP highlights this year, in order to get on the AP honor roll that comes from this College Board, you need a certain elements. We got one of them this year, our college optimization. We got 6%. So you need 2% of your class of 2025 to take a total of 5 AP courses, and we did meet that criteria. So we're always right there. If you look at that slide, you need 40%. We got 36. For the first one, college culture, and the second one, college credit, we had 22, and you need 25. So we're right there. We want to get that AP honor roll in the next couple years. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Kelly Green, who's going to be, has the honor of giving our students their AP Scholar Awards.
So we have 3 tiers. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Green. We have 3 tiers of AP Scholar. These are actually awards given out by the College Board. They recognize our students' achievements, and so we've got 3 tiers, and then we've got a few special after that. So our first one for all, and this is the first ones I'm going to read, are granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Haley Barchetto. Yay. Andrew, sorry. Andrew Fry. On to the next one. Chloe Lynn. Gabby Laporto. Emily Marusas. No. Audrey Princiati. Audrey's here. I got the sticker on the wrong one. Scarlett Rodriguez. Ava Shortenlieb. Franz Tacleo. Did I say it right? Tacleo. Andrew Albright. John Allen. No. Christian O'Coin. Lindsay Clark. Nicole Cressman. Isabella Cruz. Charles Dobman. Katrina Erden. Olivia Goebel. I know I'm not going to say it right. Kaylin, thank you, Hughes. Kelly Jones. Madeline Calm. Cooper Makuta. Benjamin Martin. Caitlin Martin. Aaliyah Micho. Dylan Nugent. Brennan Omert. Luke Shortenlieb. And Allie Townsend. This next group of students is a little smaller. These are granted to students who receive at least a 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more. Sarah Cataliato, thank you, from my friends here. Jacob Greenberg, Riley Martin, Todd Nugent, very nice. Yeah, we'll find them. Olivia Shortenlieb, Ava Wright, Alexander Aguilar, Ariana Goldbert, Cadence McNeamer, Sage Target, and then this last batch are for our AP scholars with distinction. This is granted to students who receive an average of at least 3.5 on all AP exams and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. Alexis Broderson, Alyssa Brown, Laura Molesky, Kaylee Bennett, Mateo Kirby, and Maddie Young. And then we have 4 more awards. These are also directly from the College Board. These are national recognition. The first is for Mr. James Allen. The second is a National Hispanic Recognition Program for Connor Donnelly. I failed to say James Allen's was for first generation taking AP exams. Riley Martin wins National Rural and Small Town Recognition Program. And Christian Quigley Sanborn also is recognized for National Rural and Small Town. I hope that my list next year is even bigger and I will practice the names ahead of time. Thank you all.
That's all we have.
Great. So thank you, girls, ladies. Just one more large round of applause for other recipients. We'll do it all together. Thank you very much. Gina, I do have one question in regards to the math and English test scores that you presented. What can we expect from the board in the, I guess, the monitoring of the progress or regression? Will we see something in February or March and then school year end?
Sure, we could.
And what do you do
yeah.
to, track it and kind of nip it in the bud as it's?
So right now we
If
are
regression takes
using
place.
benchmark assessment. So all of the students took beginning of the year benchmarks. So we will have some mid-year data to compare how they started, how the students started, and how they're doing mid-year. So I'd be happy to share that with the board and giving progress checks throughout.
Great. Any other questions from the board?
Maybe we could think about a committee about student achievement.
Does that fall under, like in our class rank type policy?
Program, so we have a lot of different
our student success teams in both buildings. We're looking at all the different, the MTSS, which is multi-tiered system support for different students. Really what we're focused on is personalized learning. So depending on where the student starts is really, we're looking at growth. Not every student is going to meet expectations, but we want them to all grow. So really starting to see where they're starting and also seeing, how we can get them to the next level. So really every single student has their own plan. It's both now and PLA.
Okay.
Are you able to email me the presentation?
It'll be on the website.
Okay.
As we move into the rest of our business, any of the receiving students and recognized students and parents who wish to leave at this point, it's the nicest way I can say it, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting and as we go through our business. But I'll give a 1 minute recess. Someone make a move. Someone wants to. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. You're more than welcome to stay. All right. I know your addresses. We'll come to you. So while they are exiting, when we get into our work session in our board forum, we're going to talk about, I guess, some committee reports. Crystal Martin, just get yourself, prepared.
Sure.
And
We had the a meeting of the SALT committee back in September. We discussed, the two biggest things we discussed were the class rank policy and the excused absence policies, both things that we have discussed here at the board and being brought up by the members of public. So I think you can see on the agenda tonight, there's the first reading of the class rank policy, which in general is just bringing back the old policy that was rescinded when they took that away. And it's pretty much just, giving that one back. There's minor change to it to help clarify how the class rank is calculated. But other than that, it's the same policy really that was in place previously. We also discussed the attendance policy. And the most important part was that the ability to get an excused absence that's not listed by, writing to the principal superintendent for the reason for the absence, and then having them determine whether or not it was reasonable. And you can look on the agenda is both of those. And hopefully that, changing the policy to make the students and their parents be able to request that their absence be excused can handle some of the concern that the parents had over, the issue with the threat without going over broad in what absences are going to be excused and not excused.
Great.
That's about it.
Thanks, Crystal. Stephanie, I think we talked through email in regards to diversity committee with Kim and whatnot. If there was anything that needed to be reported out at this time, I don't know if you've met. Perfect. Great. Thank you. New business. I don't think we have too much going on other than I can blend it into old business. See, I know we talked about dedicating a tree at the new admin building, but I think at this time we're probably we'll elect to do that in the spring. I think we've gotten past a planting season, so we'll continue that discussion. Let's get some things finalized, and we can talk about the type of and get a firm date on when we can do that dedication. Okay.
I had a few questions about committees, seeing we're talking about that.
Sure.
So we have a policy 0155 that says board committees, and we only have 2 committees, whereas that board policy says I think we have 5. So I'm just kind of curious why we only have 2.
Does it say up to 5, or just, does it
Shall
actually?
appoint board members to serve a 1-year term on the following board standings committee: Budget and Finance, Policy and Education, Human Resources Operations, Sick Bank, PEA. So, my concern was that part of our job as board members are to make and reform policies, and we only have 1 board member on the SALT committee. So that's a concern for me. I would wonder why there's only 1 on that one. And maybe we could get some more board members to be more involved in that. The Budget and Finance, I think we have August.
That hasn't been formulated yet
Betty.
for this budget season.
No, but we did have one, right?
Last budget season, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, currently we had a budget
Right.
committee with August, Betty, and I think Dave, right? And then we had a diversity committee, and then just 1 board member on a SALT committee, correct? So I would just, put it out there that maybe we can have more board committees, more board members on the policy one, seeing that's basically what we're voted in to help.
I think we can, have absolute more discussion, and maybe perhaps a couple more. I would like to talk about putting a couple more board members in the policy, because that's what we are remanded to do. I think most of them are ad hoc committees when needed. So we'll set our budget committee, we'll set the sick bank committee as needed, because they're not really needed until they are. But on the policy side, that certainly is, again, the thing that we are remanded to, those duties. So does it make sense to add 2 more people so we're not to a quorum to the SALT committee? I mean, that's something that we can do, or do we create a committee ourselves and read policy and go over policy and review policies? I mean, most policies that come to us come from Strauss-Esme, changes in the state, what it's handed down from the Department of Education, and then we adopt them or amend what's already existing. I guess discussion for a new policy, wherever that brainchild comes from, is it the Department of Education, or from just review of what we have? I mean, let me ask this: besides Strauss-Esme sending down amendments and additions, is there a staff that is reviewing those policies prior, or just acting and reacting once you get notice from Strauss-Esme?
So at some point, we had an audit done of all of our policies to make sure that we had the ones that we were required by the state. And then also they will tell us at that point which ones to abolish that are no longer needed. And then after that, Strauss-Esme does help us to keep up with the policies if there's revisions needed according to like mandates with the state. And as you talked about, the SALT committee really leads a lot of those changes with either the policy or regulation, but I don't see any harm if other board members want to be a part of that, as long as we don't have a quorum.
How many are on the SALT committee now?
Just 1.
No, total.
Oh, people?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kim? Like 15?
15 show up, but I think there's
Between parents, students, staff.
If the stakeholders involved.
Sure.
It's not just
right.
maybe another couple board members.
Yeah, it's fine.
There you go.
They can email you if they're interested.
At workshop committee, it was very interesting to take a committee's seminar, and a school, I think it was in Little Silver, had a lot of excellent policies, and how they effectuated them was just very impressive, that they actually spoke at the seminar and how they worked well together. And that they actually had a committee for policies, and they reviewed them and updated them every so often, because I noticed a lot of our policies haven't been updated since like 2005. So they're kind of antiquated, even if they have to be just revise, just to look at to say, yes, this still applies, or maybe this wording. But, you know, things to that, that's something we could consider.
I would,
hopefully.
so I would say those who are interested in getting, adding themselves to or volunteering for SALT committee, email me. And then I'll just, if we exceed a quorum, I'll ask someone to politely step aside. If not, if we only have a couple, then we're fine. And those concerns absolutely can be brought up during the SALT committee. And again, I think if Strauss Esme is sending it down or not sending it down, and those that you see that may not have been revised, reviewed, can certainly be done through SALT. So I'll take your first volunteer or second volunteer. Perfect. Anyone else interested, just let me know and we'll go from there.
When does the SALT committee meet?
Weekly or monthly?
Kim, I will email you tomorrow and you'll just give me those details and I'll just email them to the board to see if it fits their schedule. Great, thank you. Okay. Anything else in the new business, old business? All right. Let's move on to item 7, residents forum on agenda items only at this time. Board policy number 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a 3-minute time limit when commenting on agenda items. The floor is open for agenda items only at this time. Anyone from the public? I will say once. Sudden movement? No sudden movement. 2, I will close residents forum on agenda items only, and we'll get into our business. Under item 8 in the instructional portion of our meeting, I will ask for a motion to approve instructional items 8A through 8H as recommended by the superintendent.
Motion.
Any discussion on those items? Hearing none. Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
No to 8F, yes to the rest.
Eight F, did you say?
Yes.
Noted. Miss Johnson?
No to G, yes to the rest.
Noted. Miss Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Miss Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 9, personnel. I ask for a motion to approve personnel items 9A through 9T as recommended by the superintendent.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on those items 9A through 9T? Hearing none. Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Abstain from 9R, athletic coaching staff, and then yes to the rest.
9R.
Yes.
Noted. Miss Johnson?
Yes.
Miss Crystal Martin?
I would like to abstain from C4 and yes for the rest.
Noted. Miss Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 10, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. I ask for a motion to approve HIB item 10A as recommended by the superintendent.
Motion.
Any questions on the HIB item? Hearing none. Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
No.
Ms. Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Miss Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 11, policies and procedures. Motion to approve policies and procedures items 11A through 11C as recommended by the superintendent.
Motion.
I do take note, any prior discussion about the policy first reading, there is a typo error that has been corrected, so that will stay on the agenda. We do not have to remove or table that item. Crystal Martin reported on that earlier in her committee report.
Is it correct? It's correct.
It is corrected, yes.
There's like a strike through. Maybe it wasn't coming through.
Sure, and on that policy, it should have been struck starting at except those subjects for which no credit is awarded. That's what we discussed at the meeting. I thought,
But if that's the case, then can we just alter it right now to include that strike through?
I mean, it was for clarity's sake that we discussed it. That was in my notes from the meeting. I don't know if.
Because we can update it after it's approved. Just to say that again, Crystal, so we're all clear and it's on the record.
Sure.
We're going to strike through.
In the third paragraph, the first sentence, starting with the clause, except those students, the rest of the sentence should be struck. Except those subjects for which no credit is awarded. Okay.
The credit supersedes the grade.
Okay, yeah, that was my question.
They
I
may
just-
have gotten a grade for it, but if they have no credit, we're not going to count that grade towards their GPA. Correct?
Yeah. And the other part we discussed as well, I don't know if it was determined afterwards that had to stay in for some reason.
I mean, we can approve it, and then if it has to be revised, we can always revise it next month too. So is it okay as is, or do we have to fix it?
Can we,
Okay,
Strike that line, right?
all right. So that's on the record, and we can fix that after it's approved. Okay.
Excellent. Nice work. Any other questions on items 11, A through C?
I just.
Miss Betty, what was your question? When do they get their class right, Karen, at the end of every year?
Not until the very end. Well, right, so the grades are due in June, and then during that summer, there's real calculations. And when you go to summer school, that is implemented into your rank as well. So we have it ready for the fall, so that they can apply to college. So the seniors won't get their class right? They do their class right today. Like, they come down and do their college application, they've already started that. And some students have already done made some decisions by August at Stockton, so that's all ready to go.
Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
A, B, no, C, yes.
Noted. Miss Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Miss Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving into item 12, operations. I ask for a motion to approve operation items 12A through 12G as recommended by the superintendent.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on items 12A through 12G?
There was an error on the junior high school health and safety eval form. I don't know if that was corrected.
Amanda, take you fix that on the yes and no. It was, he put no and she said it should be NA.
Yeah. We'll have it fixed then.
I mean, the document's just for our own records. It doesn't have to get sent anywhere for like to the county. So
It still should be correct. I mean, if we're a high-performing high school, it should be correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Was that the only error in question, Stephanie, that you saw?
That's the only one that I saw.
Okay.
It was just a junior high one. The others were fine.
Gotcha. Any other questions on items 12A through 12G? Hearing none. Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes to 1 and 2, no to 3. For D.
Say that one more time. What is
I'll
no?
just say
What's no?
no to D, yes to everything else.
Noted. Miss Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Miss Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 13, report of the board secretary business administrator. I ask for a motion to approve the report of the board secretary business administrator on agenda items 13A through 13M.
Motion. Oh, that was a tie.
Second.
Is that you, Patty?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions on items 13A through 13M? No questions. Amanda, roll call vote, please.
Miss Betty?
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Crystal Martin?
Yes.
Patty Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Under our informational items, Doc, anything you need to add under monthly attendance, discipline, our Stockton?
Nope, I think we're good.
Fantastic. Any questions on those items? You have them in your agenda to read, fellow boardsmen. We will move into item 15, residents forum on general topics. Board policy number 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a reasonable time limit of 3 minutes when commenting on any topic. The floor is open to the public on any topic. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Matt Davis. I'd like to speak about the poor planning for the senior class trip this year. The student athletes are going to be penalized, not just the seniors, who are going to have to make a tough choice whether they stay and play in the state tournament or go on their final senior trip with their friends. But the underclassmen are also going to be penalized because if the seniors aren't there, they're going to be missing a lot of their teams. And I just want to know if there's anything we can do to fix this problem.
Mr. Davis, did you speak with the class advisor yet?
I have not been able to get in touch with them.
Okay, so I will talk to the class advisor tomorrow and Mr. Henderson, and we will call you. I did a little background on this prior to this evening, and I do know that they planned this 3 years ago. So it's just challenging planning around state testing, athletics. But let me speak with the class advisor and see if there's a workaround with this, and I can get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, Josh Klein. I have the same, problem with this as well. I mean, kids, your whole life, 12 years they go through school, they wait for this opportunity to go. You don't want to go to Florida when it's 95 degrees out in June. I mean, you guys ever been to Disneyland in June?
Yes, it's
I have.
terrible.
It's terrible. You know what I mean? And they wait their whole lives. And I think it's terrible planning. Is it a little cheaper? Probably. If you want to go to Long Beach Island in January, it's a little bit cheaper too. I mean, that's what they told us. I mean, it's to me, it's unacceptable. Ty and Matt and the rest of his teammates and stuff are going to lose the opportunity to play to go into playoffs. You know what I mean? It's not fair. The schools in the springtime are a little bit better than the fall and the winter sport teams. This is their chance to get into the playoffs and do something, and it's their senior year. I mean, for me, I'm going to have a real problem with it if this doesn't get changed. It's unacceptable. I have 5 children that went through the school system, and it's not right. Thank you.
I'll give you a call tomorrow too, Mr. Klein.
All right, thank you.
Can you give an update to the board?
I'll email you, Mr. Bonnicky.
Okay.
Great. Anyone else from the floor on any topic? Seeing none, I will close residents forum and we'll move into board forum. And I'm going to start to my far right, our sitting high school representative, Max.
So with regards to the cheerleading's clothing donation drive I discussed earlier, I got it. It's not that they are currently running it, but that they have already held it, and I believe it is closed.
Thank you.
Yes.
Closed. Say that.
Yeah, I think it was at the harvest.
Yeah,
They did
and then with regards to the senior trip that they were just discussing, currently we do have the largest group so far signed up, and that's what's going on so far with the senior class. Everyone seems to be very excited and happy with so far the beginning of the school year, and I just wish luck for the next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Following right down the road, Crystal Martin.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Great. Stephanie?
Yeah, nothing. Just get out and vote.
Okay. Zimmerman?
I'm good, but thanks for all the presentations tonight. It's very informative.
Am I up?
You are.
Then I would like to say congratulations to our AP scholars. As near as I could tell, some of them are starting college with at least 1.5 semesters finished. And to the parents who were able to raise those children, I want to say congratulations also. That's amazing. So it's a good program. I will go volleyball. Yay, girls.
BB.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Patty?
I'd like to thank Stephanie and Crystal that sit on the committees. Also, the fall sports teams, congratulations. Great season. Phenomenal to the scholars and the graduates of the class of 2024. It was great seeing your names up there, so congratulations. I know you're out there.
Great. Thanks, Patty. David?
So, congratulations to those AP scholars. It's just really exciting to see the results of that and the hard work that the students and families and the staff has put into that. That's tremendous. And congratulations to all of our fall athletes. And it's neat to be at the football games to see the school spirit and all that's going on there. And we just look forward to more great things in the upcoming months.
Great. Thank you. Buddy Ed?
Nothing.
Very good. August?
Yeah, one of my friends from high school got in touch with me, wanted to find out where did the photos of the class of 1985 go? There used to be a drawing on the wall when you first walked into your left. There's been a conspiracy on where these photos went.
They're in in storage and right in that closet.
Wasn't that the original 7th grade class that went through all
original
6
7th.
years?
Yeah.
Class of 85, wasn't it?
That's correct.
I'm
just saying, so it's a story.
in that picture.
It's in that room right by where it was hung up.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and when they did the referendum, they had to take everything down.
All right, well, other than this joking around, I did want to touch on.
Joking?
something.
Let's get that
Normally.
back out there.
What's that?
Let's get it back out
Okay,
there.
Thank you. So normally, if there's any issues with the board, or a fellow board member, I usually address those in executive. Usually do not air them out here. But last month, Ms. Johnson made some statements, comments, and I think they need to be addressed. You can always look back last month. You could see, see the meeting, and you can listen to her comments. So I'm just going to briefly just start by saying that Ms. Johnson read a statement in board form on how the board operates and made comments about certain board members. I was wondering who she was referring to. I don't know. The board operates, just to get this clear so everyone understands how the board does operate, the board operates as a whole. The board gets the agenda on a Friday before our monthly or weekly meeting or monthly meeting on Monday. The agenda, each member has that Friday over the weekend and on Monday to review the agenda and to ask questions. If a board member has a question, they are to email the superintendent and copy the president about what agenda item he or she has questions on. At our Monday meeting, during board work session, those questions will be answered in the public setting. We are a true functioning board. There are checks and balances. As a board, we have oversight. As a board, we do evaluate the superintendent. Yes, the superintendent answers to the board. Any board member can ask questions. If there are any concerns, they are discussed during board work session. Before any agenda item is voted on, there is always board discussion before a vote takes place. These are called checks and balances for transparency. I will say that we have an amazing staff here at Pinelands. Our teachers and our administration work tirelessly every day to ensure that all our students receive a full and complete education. I think it's very important for the public to understand that Ms. Johnson is only on this board to harass, intimidate, and bully our superintendent and select administrators. We have tried countless times to work with Ms. Johnson. However, it is impossible to work with someone who obviously does not want to work with the board. She has made numerous comments about most of the members that sit on this board, and it is not a healthy environment to work in. The public did come in February and ask the board earlier that the board work together. The board has tried countless times, but to no avail. Most members that are on this board conduct themselves in a professional manner, respectful of the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, and the fellow board members. The only member that does not work with their fellow board members is Ms. Johnson, and I hope those things change. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, thank you for your comments. To the public, thank you for your attendance and sitting through our business. We greatly appreciate that. And with that, I ask for an adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Oh, we can stay.